Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We are delighted that you are here with us, and this is your host here, Dr. FM on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We are delighted that we have an opportunity to enter into another day. You know, life is so daily, and oftentimes we take it for granted, and we shouldn't. And so I'd like to extend a special welcome to you on today's Africa. I am your host here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one 24/7 African Caribbean online radio. And this is a safe space where we um, bring in guests to create an atmosphere and opportunity to talk about various matters pertaining to Africa. We talk about Africa's stories, our cultures, innovations, talents, and voices, just to allow them to come alive. And we're here to inform, to educate, to empower, and to uplift. And so we are shaping the lives of our future, and not just the future, but also the life of today. And Africa is on the move. And today we are privileged to have a special guest with us. And I would like to ask you to welcome into the studio our special guest here, DJ Ginger. We are delighted that you have joined us all the way from Africa. What a delight. And we're so grateful to technology, allowing us to have these conversations from people across the Atlantic. And so we're delighted that Ginger is with us today, all the way from Africa. So when people hear the
Hello,
name
how are you?
DJ, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So when people hear the name DJ Ginger, who is she?
Thank you so much. Thank you so
So who is DJ Ginger?
How are you?
We're
And I'll just do
good.
like, well, DJ Ginger is an energetic somebody. I love all fun, and I'm also a radio personality. And yeah, I think that just sums me up mostly fun, energetic, a whole vibe, I hope.
You know what? I was checking out some of the things that you are doing, or some of the things that you have done, and it looks very, very impressive. You talked about the fact that you are a radio personality. So, how did you get into this? What were your inspirations? Who were some of the people you looked up to as a little girl? Uh,
Mm. Well, it was a long journey. I started off as a radio fanatic myself. I used to be a fan of radio, and we used to listen to the likes of growing up, Innocent Chuma. We had Leander Candiero. We had Henceforth Koza. We had the Tony Fridays, the Cool Modis, not forgetting the Tsitima Waride. So I always wanted to be somebody who on radio. So fast forward, I became an artist. That is actually how I got dealing with other personalities who were there at the time. So I remember it once, Innocent Chuma said to me, "You should be on radio. You've got a radio voice." But at the time, I really just wanted artists. So I was like, yeah, yeah. But then later on, I should think it was fate that brought me back to radio, because I moved back to my hometown, that is Gweru in Zimbabwe, and that is how I later got onto radio.
You know, you talked about Zimbabwe. I also noticed that one of the names that is used about you is sort of someone who is serving Southern Africa, like Tete, which is auntie, you know, auntie of the Southern Africa. That's quite a big title. So, y- you mentioned that it was quite a journey, and there are people who have actually said, DJ Ginger, that radio is on the way out. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I won't exactly say radio is on the way out because, okay, fine, we do have a lot of, media that's coming up, different forms. We've got podcasts, we've got so many other forms that are not radio. But the problem with those is that at the end of the day, you need your data to just tune in, or you need money to be able to do that. But with radio, you can just switch to your frequency mode, your local frequency mode, and you are tuned in. So I think fine, we do have a lot of competition from podcasts, from other social media platforms, but radio is not on the way out. I actually think now, with everything that we're going through, I'll give you an example. There's a lot of rain that is happening right now, and the easiest way to reach people even when there's a storm is just radio, because radio will broadcast even during a storm. So I would pause on the thought that radio is on the way out. We still have radio.
Mm, I think you're absolutely right, and you touched on something that is actually happening. I do understand that there is torrential rains in southern Africa
Mhm,
right now, and of course people inform each other through radio, which then
mhm,
makes radio very, very important. So
mm.
for you in terms of focus or specialization, what are some of those things that you have done or are doing or plan to do as far as radio presence is concerned?
Well, there's a part that I really love about radio. It's when you get to meet people. Sometimes they have different challenges. When you've got an audience, they may not have the same situation. So to further myself, or to be more helpful in radio, um, I'm doing counseling so that I can be able to relate with the different situations that people are going through, so that I'm also able to assist people if they should need that sort of assistance. And with radio, you cannot stop. You need to keep learning more, so that you can stay on top of your game, and so that you also know exactly what is going on around you.
I'm very encouraged to hear that you are doing counseling, which is, I would probably think you're thinking, or we're thinking along the lines of educative counseling, where people are either phoning
Mhm,
in with questions and you're guiding them. That is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And of course, with that, you are also shaping culture. You are shaping people's minds, people's emotions, and their reactions. And I'm sure, given the presence you have now, people listen to you very, very attentively. And so, is there a funny story that jumps out to you from some of your interactions with people, or things that the reason I'm saying this is I was listening
mhm,
to someone who is the radio personality, and he was saying, sometimes I just go to places just to enjoy myself, and I end up having people, either interrupting me in a nice way. He was saying, but he was just saying, that there are some funny things. People are asking me to say things about them on radio and those kinds of things. Now I'm just wondering, has there been something funny that happened, or something that stands out in your own journey as a radio personality?
Well, the first thing that stands out is, when I started radio, I came in as an aunt for an adult show that would broadcast from 8 until 11, and so would be talking to couples. I was co-hosting um, with DJ Blake, someone that I work with at work. So we were speaking to a couple, and they had an issue. You know how it is when you're on radio, you address some of these things, and we're just asking them. So we're talking to the couple 1 minute, and the next minute we're looking for them. We're trying to locate them. Hello, can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us? Where are you? Are you there? And then the guy just comes in and says, okay, auntie, we've noted everything that you've said, but we'll be back with you shortly. We're going to call you. And that was that. We just had to put an ad break and say, okay, fine. There you have it. Live energy right here in the studio. We'll connect with them later. I'll never forget that incident.
Oh wow, that's quite an amazing story, really. I guess that's the nature of the kinds of things that you deal with. It's live. People are phoning in, and you're talking to people directly. Now, how do you? I mean, you must be well read, and not only that, you must be someone who fully understands the culture to be able to respond to the questions and comments and all these things happening. How do you keep yourself afloat? I know you mentioned that you have to keep learning, and I noted that, and that's very, very strategic. We have to be constant learners. So what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you stay on the edge and be good at the game? So I'm not too sure if the network is doing justice
with radio, you sometimes, if you do not know enough about a particular topic that I can hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Now I can hear you. I think you had paused for a little bit, so I'm glad you're back.
So I was saying, with radio. All right, thank you so much. I was saying, with radio, if you don't know enough about a particular discuss, you can always refer to a resource person who is always somebody that's well versed in the subject that you want to talk about. Let's say it's law, let's say it's culture, because you do know here in Africa we do have a diverse culture. So sometimes you may not know about the exact specifics of that certain culture. So you can always invite somebody who can come in as a resource person, or who you can have a sit down with and just talk to them and ask to give you more about a particular subject, or about a certain way of doing something. So that's how we try and just stay afloat, because I cannot know everything. There are things that I do not know. So you'd always need to just refer to somebody who knows. If you can't do that, then you read about it, or you research more about it. But it's always nice if you can just have somebody who's actually hands-on, and you can always refer to that person.
DJ Ginger, you just said something that I really liked. You made this admission that I don't know everything. I can't know everything. And I guess there are some things that keeps us humble in the game. And you realize I need to reach out to someone who would be able to step in. And I guess when you work as a team, there are some other people on the team who will complement you as well. So that's really wonderful. Well, you're listening and watching Today's Africa here with your host, Dr. FM, and we are here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one Caribbean African online radio, coming from the studios in Toronto, in Canada. And someone says that Africa's future is brighter. And when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, you look much younger than I am. And I think when we have young people like yourself who are in this game and who are contributing to wellness, and that's the way I picked up the few comments you have made. You're contributing to wellness in the community. Now, I wanted to take you back a little bit with regards to that comment. What are some of the issues you see emerging in society? And I know you mentioned counseling, but just in general, what are some of those things that emerge in terms of social challenges affecting our people in Africa today?
Okay. what's on the rise now, it's a fight. I think it's a worldwide fight that is going on right now against drugs and substance abuse. So you'll find that a lot of times you will find someone complaining or having that sort of problem in within their family or within the community. So some of the challenges, it's drugs and substance abuse or depression because of several reasons. People are going through so much, so sometimes they will turn to radio as a place where they can sort of like unwind or try to distress or seek advice. So the challenges that I see the most, it's mostly depression, it's mostly drugs and substance abuse, and someone just telling you that, you know what, I cannot decide on what I want to do with my life. That is to do with career and career choices. So just a glimpse of the problems that I face when I'm on radio, or the challenges that come from people.
This is really insightful to hear these comments. And I think for me now, just listening to you, I'm getting this picture that with radio, you're dealing with real time kinds of responses. So you could be speaking to someone who is in a situation and they turn on the radio and they hear something that can impact their lives right away. So how do you connect with the listeners in such a way that people see you not only as a professional, but they also see you as a friend? I would probably imagine that the radio station has outreaches, you try to connect with the community, but what are some of the things that help you to connect with people so that you're not just speaking from the comfort of your office and radio studio, where everything is, you have air conditioned and everything is nice, but you're also connecting with real people out there. So what are some of those things that help you to connect with people so that they hear you as a professional and also as someone who is able to guide them?
Well, with technology now, we're able to do live shows where someone can actually put a face to the name, and we've got shows where you can actually be out of the studio in front of a live audience, so you get to connect, and somebody will come and say, "Oh, so that's you," but I was picturing somebody who's so huge, and it's something that sort of like it takes away the bridge between you as a presenter and the listener. Being able also, because of unfortunately, we don't have radio like it was before, where you would only hear a voice and not be able to see the person or see the face. Now somebody can just walk up to you and say, "You know what, Auntie Ginger, I've got a problem. I need this. It's fortunate and unfortunate at the same time, because sometimes I just want to be, Ginger, or I just want to be Johanna, and I'm walking in the streets and I'm not even worried about about the listener. But then someone will actually walk up to you and say, "You know what, I think I know you. You are Ginger, right? So I've got this issue. Or can you play me this song next time when you're on radio?" So that's how we connect. You connect via WhatsApp, via the live audiences that we have, and sometimes via telephone calls, via conversations. Anyone can just choose the way they want to connect with me, and they can just access us.
So I was going to ask you a personal question, and I think it's safe for me to ask you that personal question. How did you get the name Ginger? Did you give it yourself? Was it given to you? Like, what's this thing around the name Ginger?
All right. So Ginger is literally from the ginger, from ginger, because I've always just wanted to be somebody who can be able to, just give off energy to somebody else, or to just, if somebody should be in a bored or something, I just wanted to just be that person who can give heat from within, the ginger effect. But then the actual name Ginger came from the fact that I had gingery hair. And when I went on radio, I first went to try out, and they're like, no, you know what, you can just use a pet name. You can just, you don't have to really use your real name. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, let me just use Ginger, because I had the ginger hairdo, and that's where it came from. And then I grew out of the ginger hairdo, and now I've got black hair. But that's where it came from. So it's two aspects: the ginger hair and the ginger effect, where I want to just give off heat or energy to someone else.
It surely sounds like you're living up to your name, because earlier on when you introduced yourself, you mentioned that you are energetic, and I think I can pick that up from your voice and the way you present yourself. There's a lot of energy in there, and that is commendable. And
Thank you so much.
so, oh, you're very welcome. Actually, you know what? It is encouraging to see someone like yourself who is energetic, who is young, and making a difference in the community. I mean, I find myself going back to some of those social ills that you mentioned that are really affecting the lives of many, many people. I would probably
Mhm.
imagine the majority of those are young people. I mean, Zimbabwe has a very young population, and I would probably imagine that the kinds of things that you do on radio uh, touches these young people in ways that you may never see. Some of them may not even come up to you and say, "You're Ginger, right?" I have this question, or "Can you autograph this for me?" But you are touching lives. Now, what support do you get from? And I'm thinking along the lines of partnerships. Someone said that one of the realities of services is that we don't have the capacity to meet all the needs that arise in our community. So, as a radio station, as a radio personality yourself, what are some of those partnerships that you've benefited from, just in terms of responding to some of these needs? I mean, when you think of depression, I mean, it can be connected to emotions. It can be connected to biology, medical issues. It can be, you know, people need jobs. That's why they're depressed. They need something that will energize them. So, what are some of those thoughts that come to mind with regards to partnerships that you have with others?
Okay, so I'll speak in terms of being a radio personality. I think the greatest support that I've had, well, personally, it's sometimes when you're on radio, and probably you've got a topic that is quite sensitive. It could be bullying, it could be anything. You find that there are people that reach out to you, like organizations that are specific with probably the problem that you've been discussing on radio. And some of them will come to you and say, you know what, we heard you discussing such a topic, and we would like to chip in and help. And some of them will give you a number, or as a number that you can use as reference to actually refer that person. So that alone is the greatest support that I guess you could want, because it doesn't make sense to speak to somebody who you can tell has an issue or has a problem, and then you are not able to do something about it, because the next day they'll wake up, they'll have the same problem, and who knows what they're going to do next. So just being able to find somebody who can come in to say, Ginger, there's this issue, we can help you like this. I think that's the greatest support that we've been getting.
Mm. It is encouraging to hear that there are other people who step up to support and partner with you as a radio personality and even as a radio station. And of course, again, to
Mhm.
those of you who just joined us, you are listening to uh, today's Africa on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one global Caribbean African music. And we do have a variety of things that we do as well, 24/7. Love Bay is a wonderful opportunity. It's a platform that is created to share insights, the progress, talents, perspectives, and even transformations that are happening in our various communities. And we'd like to encourage you, by the way, if you haven't done so, visit our website and you can like and share Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. You can download our app, and you can also click the donate button, because we do have a number of programs that we support in the various communities, especially with regards to education and sports and different things as well. So feel free to connect with us. And of course, we are reachable. We are on WhatsApp on 437-778-3299. Again, the number is 437-778-3299. DJ Ginger, I wanted to go back to this notion of partnering with other people, but also the realities of radio. What are some of the things you find challenging in the kind of work that you do, either personally or professionally?
The most challenging thing that we face as personalities is where, sometimes people fail to just give you the privacy that you'd want at times, because you can't always be in character all the time. So sometimes you just want to be moving around in your flip-flops without a care in the world, and then you end up meeting people, and they expect you to be as entertaining like all the time. But then us being people as well, or maybe if I can speak for myself, me being also a human being, sometimes I just need a bit of personal space, and you can't really get that now because everybody just wants to talk to you, and so that's the biggest challenge that I face when it comes to being a personality, or when it comes to being Ginger.
Okay, that's very encouraging, actually. Thank you for that vulnerability. I know sometimes it's not easy for us to talk about challenges, but you have articulated that these are the realities of life, and there are times when you just need your privacy, and people just come in and expect you to deliver and be the Ginger that they know and hear about on the radio. So how do you set boundaries? I know that as professionals we have to have boundaries. Now, do you see being a radio personality is something that you say you are like that 24/7? So when you go home, you are still the Ginger with energy and speaking to everybody in the house with the Ginger voice from radio, or do you pull back and hang out with your friends? Who are some of those networks you have that just allow you to unwind?
All right, so no, I'm not Ginger, the Ginger 24/7. I do have time to just sit back and relax. And if I can tell you, sometimes when I get home, because for the hours that I'm on shift, I have a certain vibe because of the radio, because of the music, because of the show that I'm doing. So sometimes when I get home, I just want to be in a quiet space, or probably I just want to listen to some soft music. I do love energetic music, and I do love being energetic, but sometimes I just want to sit back and just relax and just reflect possibly on what I'm going to do tomorrow or the week ahead. So when I'm at home, believe it or not, I'm a bit on the quieter side for maybe an hour or two before I actually pick up and get back to being the hello. And then I also do have time to just be with my friends. Once in a while, we can go out. We can go for They are now called chills nowadays. You can go out with your friends for chills or just to sit and talk. So yeah, I love being gingery and I love being ginger, but sometimes I do have a little corner that I want to be with, that I want to be in, where I do not want to be disturbed. I hope that answers you.
It does. It does. And thank you so much for that openness. I really appreciate that. By the way, I was also just curious. You talked about listening to music. Now, Africa is very
Mhm,
diverse and vast, it's a big
mhm.
continent. Now, what are some of the African music genres that you are into, or the ones that you would use on radio? I know I'm saying this, but I'm also interrupted my thoughts here. I know that in Zimbabwe, there was a time that there still is an emphasis on local content, but and I think that came at the right time. I
Mhm,
really think that it has so many good things for Zimbabwe in terms of people, uh, you know, addressing things and
mhm.
issues from within the context of their own environment. But in Africa in general, what are some of those African music genres that you would listen to or you have interest in?
All right. So I love rumba. I love rumba music. I love it a lot. I also love the Zim dancehall. We do have our own sort of reggae vibe that is Zim dancehall. I listen to that as well. I also listen to, I don't know if you know this. There's Chigio, which it's a Zimbabwean sound that also incorporates mbira music in it. I like that as well. Not all the time, but yes, I do listen to that, and I also listen to Afrofusion, and I love the Zim hip hop as well. But then I cannot keep up with some of the young artists that keep popping up every now and again. But I do have specific artists that I'll listen to, and I also love a lot of Sungura. I don't know if you did you know Sungura,
Yes,
Sungura music.
yes.
I listen to that as well, although I cannot dance to it, but I listen to that as well. And well, internationally, I will listen to your R&B, yes, and classic jazz music. And I also love the South African jazz music a lot as well. Not forgetting the Mapiano vibe; it's taken over. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I would listen to.
I can see that. I mean, being a radio personality, you really have to have diversity, and you're displaying that. I mean, just in terms of your outlook and perspectives, and of course, here on this platform, it's a trusted platform where we talk about positive African narratives, insights and talents and music and perspectives and all that. And so, it's a real honor and a privilege to have someone like you here with us in the studio on Love Bay Afrobeat Music and Talk Radio. And of course, those of you who just joined us, we're glad you're here with us. And this is your host, Dr. FM, here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one Caribbean African online radio. And I understand that the word young is relative, because I'm looking at you, you're a young person, and you're saying you can't keep up with some of the young artists, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. So there's such a diversity here in terms of music and all that. And I'm just thinking, when you look into the future in terms of shaping culture, what are your thoughts on radio and culture? I know that culture is also
Mhm.
very dynamic, but what are your thoughts in terms of radio and culture?
So I didn't get part. I think connection is breaking off.
Yes, I noticed that. I think there seems to be a delay. I was just saying, when we look into the future, and even the present, what do you see
Mhm.
as the role of radio and culture? Culture is very diverse, but what do you see as that relationship between radio and
Mhm.
culture? So radio and culture.
All right. I think radio is the platform that we are going to be using to actually remind people of who we are, of who they are. Because when you look at we've got, the different social media platforms, some of them have like that sort of like censorship. Somebody can just go on a platform and say whatever they want, or act how they want, because they are just doing it for views or for followership, etc. But when it comes to radio, because it is a guided platform, where we seek to speak to different people or different ages, you find that it's more of like it's grounded. You can call in somebody who can talk about culture. In our culture, we do this. It is appropriate to do this. It is not appropriate to do this. So it sort of like becomes the voice that people can actually listen to. I'll give you an example. We've got issues to do with bullying. You find that there are certain platforms where someone can post anything. They are bullying someone and they get views and they get likes, for just doing that. But when it comes to radio, you'd find that there are voices that will say, no, you cannot bully someone. It is bad for you to do that, or it is not right for you to do this. The best way for you to handle somebody who is bullying you is to do this. So radio, to me, sort of like becomes the voice that, should I say, the voice of reason, which people are going to use. I think years down the line, you are going to find that radio is going to become one of the biggest tool that possibly people are going to use to give information or to receive information from. So it's got a big role in my view, and I'm not saying this because I'm a radio personality, but it's just something that I really keep thinking about, and I've looked into.
I really think you are absolutely right. Radio has a future. I think we started by you making comments earlier that radio has a future, and it's not going to go away soon, I should say. I mean, there's so much innovation, but radio is radio, and it reaches quite a population that would not have access to newspapers, that would not have access to things that they can read like right away, but they can just listen while they're doing different things. You could be driving and listening to a radio program or music. You could be, working and having music in the background, or a program that you would be listening to. So I really agree with you that um, radio impacts society in it has potential to impact society in some very, very good things. Now, I would like to move into an area where I'm going to push you a little bit, in a good way. And I'm just wondering, when you look at radio from a critical perspective, not critical as negative, but critical as
Hmm.
constructive thinking,
Okay.
what are some of the downsides of radio, and how can radio partner with something else to be better?
Hmm.
So how do you see radio? What are the downsides of radio, or the limitations of radio?
Well, I'll try and answer this one as honestly as I can. I think some of the downsides are that there are still places that cannot access radio right now, and probably
I think we kind of lost you for a little bit there.
the downsides that I see is that all right, the fact that people cannot always be tuned in like all the time, and the fact that radio can't be the presenters or the personalities, they cannot be at the place where things are happening at that particular time. So sometimes you'd have to rely on hearsay, because at the time when something happens, maybe you were not there. It's different from other media platforms where somebody's already there, they're already capturing a video, and it's live and it's happening and it's direct. With radio now, you need to probably, there's a delay, because you cannot be there at that particular time when it happens at that moment. That's one of the downsides that I see. So possibly if that can be changed, then yes, we can have a positive move to radio.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you're touching about the limitations of radio, and of course, right now we have this experience where there's some kind of a delay in terms of hearing you and you hearing me, and of course, but this is a great innovation that really allows us to have these conversations in a safe environment. And you are listening and watching Today's Africa here. I'm your host, Dr. FM, on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Radio, your trusted platform of positive African narratives, insights, perspectives. We talk about innovations. We talk about quite a variety of things as well. And so we're delighted that you have joined us in this broadcast today. And we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course, TikTok. And I am just thinking in terms of transitioning to an area where I would say there are some young people, or could be older people as well, wanting to go into the radio broadcast. So, DJ Ginger, what are some of those areas that come to mind in terms of preparation for that? I know that we seem to be having a technical difficulty here. Hopefully she will come back on. But I would like to find out, just in terms of preparation, one of the things that we have to be mindful of as people progressing, like we say, the future is brighter for Africa. How do we sell the value of a radio broadcast to our young people so that they are able to use radio in a positive way and continue to shape culture? It's interesting that she said that people would approach her on the street and ask her to. They would ask her questions when they see her, and that is a positive thing. That's something that comes not just because it's a job, but it becomes part of your life. You see yourself as a resource to the community, and that is really, really commendable. And DJ Ginger is having this conversation with us today, and we hope that she'll be able to sign back in so that we can wrap up nicely. And I know that our chief engineer, Mr. TYB, is working hard to make sure that we get reconnected. And I really believe that there's a role there's room and there's tremendous role for radio to continue to shape our nations. And it's wonderful that we have people like uh, DJ Ginger who are passionate about what they do, and they are also, you know, relating to people in ways that shape society. So I see that DJ Ginger is back. I was just wondering, in terms of other young people or older people who are interested in the kind of stuff that you do, what insights, what advice would you give to them if you had an opportunity, and of course you have this opportunity to speak to them and just let them know what do they need to be aware of in order to prepare to do the kinds of stuff that you're doing? Because I like to believe that there are people, young people in particular, who look up to you and admire you. And of course, I am one of those who admire you and thank you for the work that you do. And sometimes, you know, you never get to hear the thank yous, but thank you so much for the work that you're doing through radio. So, in advice to someone, any words of wisdom to someone who is interested in radio broadcast?
All right. So radio is not just about, the fun part. We do have, the part where you have to work really hard. You have to uh, keep being informed. You have to be well read. It's not just about your degree or the program that you're doing in media studies or in journalism. It's also got a lot to do with your talent. You need to have the passion for it, because I find that nowadays someone will just pick a program because probably they think it's easy to do, because a lot of people just think with radio it's just sitting behind the mic and just sounding excited or just playing music, but there's a lot that goes into it. So you'd need to have a lot of passion. You need to be well read as well, and you need to be somebody who's willing to move with the times, or to change with the times, because unfortunately radio doesn't just stay as it is or as it was. It keeps evolving with time. So yeah, I'll just tell somebody to work hard, have the passion for it, and just go for it.
Thank you so much for those wise words. You talked about being informed, being well read, having a passion and skill. Actually, you pretty much summed up what the friend of mine said about things that happen in life. He said there are three things, three categories basically. Before you do anything, there has to be a desire, and there has to be skill or talent, and there has to be an opportunity. So how was this radio opportunity presented to you? How did you get into this in terms of the opportunity side? Like, how was the opportunity presented to you?
Well, like I said, to me, it came, I should say it was fate, because remember I told you before coming onto radio as a personality, as a radio personality, I was doing music. I was into music. I used to sing and I used to perform. I writed a lot as an artist. So because of that, an opportunity came one day where I was invited and asked to actually come in and just fill, the role of an art, because they needed that role on radio. And I just thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, I may be able to do this. So we're asked to send in our demos, and I sent in my demo. It was a 5-minute demo where I just had to showcase myself. And I sent in my demo, and I was surprised when I was actually called in for the interview, and I went for the interview and got shortlisted, and I was told I would try for just 2 days, and if the audience liked it, then they would work out, how we're going to do the show. So I tried that, and the audience liked it, and that's how I came onto radio.
And how long has it been now since you've been doing this? It seems that that delay is affecting us. I was just asking, how long has it been now since you did your 2 days, and now you've been doing this um, for a long time?
It's been 7 years. It's been 7 years now.
Wow, thank you so much. It's been a real delight having this conversation with you. Now, I know we touched on quite a number of things, and I'm just wondering, as we wind down, what are some of, or is there one or two thoughts you would like to leave our viewers and our listeners with as we wind down for the day?
It's been 7 years. I've been on radio for 7 years. So I just did the 2 days. Then I got trials for the 3 months.
That is wonderful. Now, are there some things you would like to leave with us as we wind down our time together today?
Well, I'll just tell you what I do, and this is what I want to leave to the audience as well, who are tuned in right now on Love Bay Radio. I just hope that you're going to be living by the day. Take each day as it comes. Take each day.
We missed the last part there. We didn't catch it. Do you mind highlighting that one more time? The last part.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was saying you should just take each day as it comes. Take it a day at a time, and don't really stress about a lot of things, but just take a day as it comes, and you'll see that life will be fine. It will be perfect.
Excellent. Well, you know what? This brings us to the end of today's broadcast on today's Africa. And we have been talking to DJ Ginger, all the way from Southern Africa, a radio personality, someone who is very passionate about what she does and making a difference in the world. And we are so delighted that we have had this opportunity to be with you. And so thank you, thank you, thank you, DJ Ginger, for making time to be with us today. And of course, we thank you, our listeners and our viewers, for joining us. We're reflected on the ideas and voices that are shaping our continent. Remember, Africa's strength lies in its people, its innovations, and unstoppable spirit. And until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep believing in Africa, and know that the life in Africa is brighter and our future is brighter. Again, this has been your host, Dr. FM, here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. And I'd like to remind you that coming up at 1 o'clock, right on the clock, on the hour, the Caribbean flavor with Mr. Marcus and Miss Jen to Blue will be following. And so don't miss that. Again, thank you for being with us today. Remember, today's Africa comes live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're delighted that you have been with us today. So stay well,